There we go. Sound is back on. Thanks, Steve. Stephen Livingston. Um, how are we all doing? Bernard Mannion, Jerry Morgan, Irwin, Graham Lanigan, Darius. Great to see us all back on there. Hope everyone had a good week. And don't worry, Donald. Sound is back on there. Hey, Graham. James Gibson. I did, James. I hit that button. Colin Healy. Hope you're keeping well. Hope you're keeping well, Colin. It's back on there. Peter Moylan. How you doing? Trevor Noonan. Patrick Smith. Good man. Robbie's currently tying up a few Iron Blue dries. Send us over a picture, Robbie. Let's see what's like. Hi, Declan Smith, Aidan Gill, Martins, Fennessy. Great to see so many people back on. Saturday night again here with me, Peter Driver, in Kilkenny here, Piscari Fly. Hi, Robbie Berry. How are you keeping? And Kieran Sherlock, Brendan Dahi, how you doing? Hope everyone's well. Hi, Robbie. Send us over a picture of them dry Iron Blues there, Robbie. I'd like to get a look at them. Hi, Nikki. Pascal King is on there as well. Good to see you. Damien Driver. How you doing, Damien? Hope you're keeping well and all the boys up there. Tom Ankertel. How you keeping? Got a real good one for you, Tom, tonight, Tom. One for Loughlin down there in Killarney. Hi, Dick Conlon. Hope you're well. So we got a nice lineup for you tonight. We're going to be here for the next couple of hours tying some flies. And on tonight's menu, we got a guest hire tonight, guys. Got a cracking video sent into us during the week by one of our regulars, and it's an absolute fantastic tie. Not going to spoil it for you. Well worth watching. How you doing, Philip from Banbridge? Neil Hammerton, how you doing? Good to see you guys all back on here again. Absolutely, Graham. The week went fierce quick. It does. The weeks are just flying by, aren't they? Every week is just melting into each day. And hi, Sharon Doolan from Clonmel. Every day is just melting into one another. Every week and it doesn't look like, lads, we're going to get this out of this too soon either. So we could be here for another good few Saturday nights yet. Please God, all everyone keep them well. So tonight we're going to do two little river dries that were. So this is kind of your suggestion. So I'm back over all your messages from the last show, and a lot of suggestions were sent in to me during the week, and I kind of picked a really good mix of stuff. Stuff that kind of I have a bit of memory about, and some stuff that'd be good patterns. And I thought, that would go down well with the mix of anglers we have on and fly tires we do have on here on Saturday nights. So we're going to be doing, and what we're going to start with is a yellow Sally. A dry yellow Sally. We're going to do a Tubbs Indispensable at some stage. At some stage, we've got an absolute cracker for Loughlin and Killarney. Not going to spoil it. What it is, going to save that one when we get to it. Chris Meadows said it's snowing in Clonmel. We've no snow over here in Kilkenny at all. Hi, Tom. How are you keeping? So we're going to do a little Tubbs Indispensable, an absolute amazing fly. Really interesting story behind that fly, and I'll fill you in on when we get to that one. We got a streamer pattern that I'm going to do, not just for rivers or lakes. It's an absolute fantastic, not just for lakes, but for rivers. It's been fantastic. We've used it in competition several times over. It's an Italian tile streamer. I was asked several times by during the week, and I'm going to do a variation of it. The reason why I'm going to do absolutely Martin Fennessy, the Tubbs, is an absolute cracker. I was speaking to Mark, my cousin today, who's a well-accomplished angler, and I said, I'm going to do the Tubbs Indispensable tonight. He says, what? I said, Tubbs Indispensable. He didn't even know what it was. So it's a pattern that may be getting a little bit lost, so we might just try and reinvent it tonight a bit. So I got a brilliant streamer pattern coming up. Fantastic for not only lakes, bank fishing, but for river fishing, and it's been used an awful lot through tournament match fishing in Worlds and Europeans. That's where I came across it first. Fantastic. So you're going to really like that one. It was also the fly that I caught the biggest fish on in the North American Loch Styles 2 years ago in British Columbia. So if any of our BC friends are on tonight, I'm going to tie that fly. I think it was Lake Corbett, that I got the 67 centimeter rainbow on. And I'm going to tie that streamer tonight because it is exactly the same as the Italian one. It's just different colours. But we'll explain it all when we get there. And say we got a guest hire. Dave is going to be on. Yeah, Dick Conlon. Yeah, no, I haven't got that. I haven't got any of that. But absolutely, yeah. I was actually doing a bit of research on the Tubbs today, and just some great information up on there. But I don't have the piss stained bald hair from the ram, unfortunately. But we're going to work on a substitute. But cracking little fly. So we got a guest hire on today. Dave's going to be on doing his usual trivia. We got a really nice prize here for the trivia. And as usual, hit that share button. Let's get everyone on a Saturday night. Have a bit of fun. If you've got any comments, suggestions, or input, please, love to hear it. Absolutely love to hear it. And just one thing I want to mention as well, when I go back, I going to sit down Saturday or Sunday and I watch the shows, go back over it. And I do miss so much because I'm trying to tie the screen. The second screen is right in front of me, a big screen. Hey, Dylan. Good to see you. I see the Welsh D is well up at this stage. Hi, Elaine. Oh, we're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay up in the north there too. I don't get to see all the comments, so I'm sorry if people think that you could have read up my comment or something. So there's been some great content put up in the comment section. Unfortunately, I don't get to read it all out because if I put the head down to do a bit of time, which I'm supposed to be doing, to keep you all entertained, well then I could miss because there's an awful lot of comments come whizzing up there. I've only got a short couple of seconds and then the comment has gone up through the list, so I don't get to see it. So if anybody feels anyway offended that I don't read out the comments, I apologise. It's not intentional. So I do go back and read them afterwards and try and add them into if it's really relevant or something like that, I'd comment on them or reply to that person. So how you do, Lucas, Kieran Sherlock, Kieran, Dave. Kieran wants an easy quiz tonight. Don't forget, after the show tonight, there's a live Fly Fish Live match going on over on Fly Fish Live. It starts at 10 o'clock. Dave is doing the commentary on it. Yeah, absolutely. Declan Noonan, RS Austin is the originator of the tubs. Brilliant on the Blackwater. Yeah, brilliant on it's probably, it is regarded as one of the top dry fly patterns on the planet. And it's just something you don't see or hear of too much anymore. Graham wants to know, Dave, is pennies open tomorrow? Have you got the times for pennies? But yeah, tubs. But what we're going to start with is something that Kieran Sherlock, I think Kieran, you suggested this one initially, and I was asked about it again, was the Yellow Sally dry fly. Now, the Yellow Sally is a beautiful fly, one of the most beautiful flies you'll see on the river. Going to show you a picture of it there now. Beautiful fly. You can see I have a little wet fly there on the screen as well, and that was the kind of why I put that picture up, because that was kind of the typical sort of wet fly Yellow Sally that we used to buy years ago when we were kids. Down in the local tackle shop, these little 50 pence flies. Certainly, weren't the prettiest looking things, but definitely effective. Really, really effective. Yellow Sally is a beautiful fly to see fluttering around. Don't see them too much on the Nore. If anyone correct me if there's any particular kind of hatches up around, but it's it's a fly. It's a beautiful fly, and definitely can catch fish. There's no doubt about it. So we're going to try a little dry fly version of that. One that I've been trying for a number of years, because there still is an odd person that looks for it, and I still have one or two Yellow Sallies in the box. So we're going to start off here. I got a little bit of yellow tying thread here from Tommy Fly, and I'm going to put a little bit of kind of brownie grey Antron. Graham Lanigan saying there, and he sees a good few on the Blackwater during the summer months. It's great. Beautiful fly to see. I have seen them. We used to have a decent, we used to get a few of them up in the Avonmore, and they're lovely. And so Michael Scully sees a lot up in the Upper Nore. Rick Van, never seen a trout take a Yellow Sally. Well, I can't honestly say I've ever seen a trout take a Yellow Sally, because I've seen so few Yellow Sallies. But I've certainly caught trout on Yellow Sallies. Just going to add that in there now and just taper that body back down a bit and back up. And I'm going to get a little split on those. Just avoid those little wings. Just get it a bit more even. So how has everyone's week been? I hope everyone's had a good week, and it seems like it was only last night I was here doing the same thing. Just going to let it split on them for the moment, and I'll put them into better position now in a few seconds. A couple of turns there just to get them up into position. Come down now. I'm going to add in a tail. Tail is just a little bit of yellow cocksaddle. Patrick Phelan says he's only ever seen a sparse. Yeah. Kieran Sherlock there now, he says there's a serious hatch of them on the Anner Lee as far as June and July. Brilliant. Brilliant. And is it something you'd fish now, Kieran Sherlock, a lot, a Yellow Sally? Well, you asked for this pattern, so I suppose it is something that interests you. Take a couple of fibres of that Sally or that Sally says me, that yellow cock saddle, and added in there as a little tail. Now about the yellow Sally, why do kind of, we got a lot of suggestions in for dry flies and nymphs and stuff like that, and it's just kind of to be doing something a little different. And why I chose the yellow Sally and the tups is because Tom O'Connor, congratulations, he got the job. How do you feel, Tom? But the yellow Sally and the tups, two great fly patterns, traditional kind of old school patterns that, as I say, like when I asked one of the young markers in his 20s there, and I was asking him, and not because he's an uneducated angler in any sense of the way, but he just hadn't heard of it because it's not something that really you hear lads talking about. Oh, I got a blast throw today on the Tubbs Indispensable, or hey Eugene, good to see you there. So it's now what I've got here is a little bit of black smoke. Now, when I used to tie this pattern originally, I used to use a little bit of maybe £3 or even £2 or £1.5 Maxima or Camila Maxima. What I have here now is a bit of Sabaya grey smoke monofilament, brilliant for doing ribbon and stuff like that. It's only 0.13, but for the likes of this fly, I like a little kind of a dark rib coming up it. I use this stuff now for it, and it's lovely. It's not very overpowering. It can be quite good, just to add a little rib up that fly. So I'm just gonna. There's a little bit of something sticking out of the butt of that. So just get it in there and clean it up a bit. A little bit of that. Now, there we go. So it's going to form that body coming up along. The one thing about using the likes of monofilament or this mono thread, make sure you trap it in really well, because Yellow Sally's up on the Kells Blackwater, brilliant, Jerry. And yet, what a river, Kells Blackwater, my God, I've fished it a few times, Jerry. An absolute peach of a river, that one. I love that river. Had some great days on it over the years. So once I got that up, I'm going to take that black smoke rib. I've trapped one of the tail fibers there. And I'm going to give that body a little rib. Just in behind those wings. Pressure back on the thread. Dylan Roberts. Absolutely, yeah, we sure have. But it's lovely still to tie them, and it's lovely to fish them, and they were unbelievable flies. Like they are. There's some patterns out there that are absolutely magnificent that have been, I wouldn't say been neglected, but certainly have been kind of put into the back mind of modern day anglers, with all the modern techniques and the all the modern techniques and nymphing and modern materials and stuff like that. A lot of good old fashioned kind of fly patterns that were fantastic. And they had a great confidence. My dad is supposed to be on there. My dad, if you're on there, Dad, watching up in Wexford, how you doing? But with a great conversation with Dad over the years, and it's one that came up recently, and we were chatting about it. It was he used to tell me about when he was down the Avonmore fishing, just adding in another bit of smaller yellow cock saddle there, by the way, for hackle. But Dad used to be down. How you doing, Robbie? Feeling? Down in Limerick too as well. The Yellow Sally. But Dad was saying that when he used to be wet fly fishing in his younger days, and himself and a friend of his used to be wet fly fishing. And what Dad used to do, his friend was great at catching bushes and stuff like that. And the hooks that they were using at the time, they weren't the best hooks in the world. They certainly weren't tying them. Just old kind of. My Yellow Sally came off there, just because I was pulling at that tail when I was looking at it. But that's okay. I can tie it back in. But he said he used to take the broken fly then off of his friend, and he used to tie two flies on together. Two flies on together at the same point. So where you have your normal blood knot tying one fly, he tie a second fly in it, and he used to say that it was imitating mating midges and mating wet flies and stuff like that. And he used to clean up and show. Anyone else ever do that? Yeah, good point, Declan. Declan says the Yellow Sally is not to be confused with the Yellow May Dawn and Yellow Evening Dawn. Absolutely. But anybody else ever hear of someone doing something like that? But he, Dad's well able to catch trout. But he used to get ball of fish on it, he said, back in those days, having the two flies tied in together and swinging them down. So I'm just going to put a little hackle up on that. Hackle's probably a little bit big. It's not too bad. A little bit big. With yellow. Pure yellow hackle is not something that I'm in absolute massive plentiful abundance of. It'll do lovely. Once I got it up there near the eye, and I get in there and then tidy it all up a bit. All of them back. Get everything tucked back in there. And take a whip finish. Richard Odlum there. So Richard Odlum came up there a good few weeks ago now, Richard, before the last big lockdown. And he brought up a magnificent selection of old patterns that he was given to as a gift. Predominantly wet fly, I think, Richard, weren't they? Beautiful old patterns. And you're right, Richard, the yellow Sally was there. Dave Donovan says, guys, his question's going to be coming up shortly, so keep an eye out for that one. And just making sure everything's nicely tucked back in there over the eye. Trim away our trade. And there we have, I'm going to just, because the hackle is so big, it was a little bit too big, one or two of them kind of just tapered out the back, and I can just get in there and just trim them off, just to tidy up a bit. But I wouldn't be, that'd be fine. And there we have, very simple little yellow Sally pattern with a black rib and two little so that one there, Michael, sorry, I should have told you that was a 301 size 16, a Duhaku 301 size 16 on that fly there. Lovely little dry fly, beautiful natural fly to see, beautiful natural fly to see, floating around on the rivers. As Declan said, don't get it mixed up with some of the other flies that are out there, but it's a beautiful fly, and one that, you know, as I said, was suggested once or twice, and I said I'll definitely do bit more traditional style. You know, you can do comparadons and different kind of things and parachutes to, you know, have different drives. But, you know, having a nice hackle dry too is a lovely thing, like, you know. Someone's got Dave wants to know what Munster would win by. I wasn't even watching the match now, so I don't know. But there we go, folks. First fly of the evening. Yellow Sally. Little river dry fly. Lovely little fly. One well worth trying. Tie it up, try it. Nice simple body there, a real nice bright yellow, and that little bit of black smoke ribbon is fantastic stuff. I use a lot of that stuff for different things, and hope you enjoyed that one. So, going to move on to my next fly. Now, this one was suggested by we're going to go lock style, okay, for this one. So we got a right mix. This weekend was, or this Saturday night was kind of, I said it was viewers' choice. So we asked last week. You know, what would people like to see? And we got loads and loads of comments. God, it was unbelievable the amount of people that came on to me during the week and suggested some absolutely fantastic patterns and stuff like that. So I picked out someone, but this one was asked for again a couple of times. I think Dennis Golan was the first person that so all the guesses are coming up there. So I think Dave's question is, what will Munster win by? So good man, Dick Conlon. Dick Conlon says Leinster by 7. Hope so. No problem, Kieran Sherlock. Glad. Hope you like it, and I hope it catches a few trout for you during the season. Thanks very much for suggesting it. So we're going to move on to a lock style fly here. This is a dabbler pattern, okay? Very good pattern during the olives. Very good pattern to have pretty much on your cast at any time of the year. Dad Christoph was a yellow Sally. That fly was a yellow Sally. But this pattern here, so I think Dennis Golan, you were the first person, if you're on there tonight, the first person to suggest this fly last week. A few people will thanks whoever sent that comment in there just saying I would catch up after show. Absolutely. If anybody has any major questions or requests or anything like that, definitely give me a shout after the show. Just send me. I'm going to be up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning anyway. Might stay up and watch the McGregor fight. I'm not sure. I'll see how I go. But if anybody has any, please do send me a messenger. Go on to Messenger. Send me send me a message there any time of day or night, and I'll get back to you. I always try my best to get back to everyone as soon as possible. So if anybody has any kind of explanations they're looking for, or gear they're looking for, or want some advice on it, and please do pick up the phone, ring me if you have my number. If not, send me a message, and we'll get in touch with us. So anyway, this was one that Dennis Goulding, and the reason why I picked this one is because it is one of my favourites as well for lock style, especially springtime and autumn time. It can be fantastic. And I've got a really interesting little variant of it, kind of, that I'd like to share, which is one that I've been tying for the last won't start till 5 a.m. Oh, geez, I get a few flies. Done by then. But this is one that have a nice little bit, a couple of twists on it, and I'd like to share with you. Tied it for a few guys last year. They had some success on it. Thanks, Robbie. They had some success on it, and it's one well worth sharing, which is for all those lock style guys out there tonight. So got a Kamazan B175 size 10 in the hook there. Going to start off with a bit of Kevlar. Don't forget, we got a fantastic guest fly tyer on tonight. Not going to spoil what he's going to tie. He's from Derry, and he sent us a beautiful video here during the week. So going to put that up there in a little bit for you. So make sure you stay tuned and watch that. Dave will tell us when we have our winner of our quiz. And I've got a cracking prize for that as well. And we got a couple of patterns here to do tonight, so we might even run a bit longer than normal tonight. There's a couple of so many great suggestions I want to share with us, and I said, you know what? It's not as if we're going anywhere tomorrow or doing anything else that I need to be anywhere else. So a little bit of bronze mallard in there for the tail. This is the cock robin, a variant of a cock robin. Just to get the proportions right. I'm not sure if any of you actually see, but when I'm actually tying, normally my voice is much higher when I'm actually tying this, but when I'm tying this, because of the cameras and stuff we're using, I'm actually looking right down on top of the fly, and it can be a little bit awkward at times tying, getting proportions and everything correct, but we'll get there, we'll manage. You'll get a fair eye gist. It gives me a good excuse for all the mistakes, and people are sitting home and saying, oh God, he did that wrong again, and that doesn't look right. Well, it's an excuse, I can't really see it absolutely perfectly. So what I'm doing here now is I'm going to put a little strand microglint into that tail. So it's basically, you can see it's just microglint, just plucked out and broken up a little bit, and when that gets wet, it'll be very subtle, little bit of flash in that tail. You can see it, it'll just get in amongst it. Lovely little subtle little something. So Dave's question's actually up there now, guys. So from larva stage, what is the usual lifespan of a female mayfly? Good question. Great question, Dave. So let's see who knows their stuff about mayflies. I know I was asked a very similar question a couple of years back in a table quiz, and we got it right, needless to say. So once I got that tail in there, I'm going to put in a little bit of oval gold Frenchy, Uni French, and this is small. Just tie that in there. Secure them well. We're going to use golden olive seal's fur. So the body on this traditionally is 2 halves. Golden olive seal's fur and red seal's fur. And we're going to do the same, but just a little bit different. So whenever, Dave, you get an answer, put up that we have a winner and stuff like that. And I'll show you what prize we have. I'm sure there's plenty of Googling going on there. So I'm just going to wind that seal's fur up, form that body, and I'm going to come a little bit over the halfway mark. I want to come up to about there, a little bit over the halfway mark for this one. Now, if I was tying it with half seal's fur, half red, half golden olive seal's fur, I probably would have stopped that a little bit earlier. But for the style that I'm going to tie this one in, I'm actually going to keep it up to start. Now I'm just going to take some brown saddle, or kind of red game saddle, should I say. Going to put in a little body hackle there now. Just going to root through here now for a second. Normally I'd have these all rooted out and kind of the hackles and stuff ready, so you wouldn't be watching me there rooting through hackles, but I was a little bit slower getting up this evening, so I'm going to put in a nice hackle there on that one. Thanks for that, Robbie. Robbie just sent me a nice picture of his Iron Blues. Look lovely. I'll have a proper look at them there later on, Rob. Appreciate it. So we're going to just take that hackle back down over that golden olive. Another half turn on that. Now, say if anyone has any comments or suggestions or any kind of input, please do share it. We'd love to hear from the group. And if you're anywhere near that share button, hit the share button. It's always great to, during the week I get so many great emails and comments and stuff like that of people that maybe never seen the show and they come on, they watch it and they go onto YouTube and watch the last couple of weeks and said, God, when are you back on again? And just for a bit of crack, a bit of entertainment, a bit of light entertainment stuff. So a good few people find that because you guys all share it. So if you're near that share button, by all means, give it a bang. And let people know we're on here Saturday night. As usual, I say we're going to be here for a good few Saturday nights yet, I think, lads and ladies. Judging by the rumours that are coming out of Dáil Éireann, it's going to be a long spring, I think. Okay, so once we got that done, now we are going to go to a red seals for, okay, but we're going to do a little bit different. We're not just going to double on and wind it on as usual. We're going to actually spin it into the trade and make a double brush out of it. So when Dennis asked for it, and then one or two other comments came in over the show, and then there was one or two suggestions come in during the week when people watched the back on YouTube and stuff. That can pigeon miles? Absolutely, pigeon is. I've used pigeon for Iron Blues. Yeah, pigeon can be used for Iron Blues. It's a lovely Iron Blue colour actually. So I'm just going to get a bit of flatness on this. It just had spun on me a bit, and it just needs to. Normally it's relatively easy to spit that trade. Because it just spun a bit when I was tying the last few bits there. It's just kind of a bit more difficult there now to. There we go. Now, take a little bit of seals for, tease it out. Sometimes it can be hard to judge what you're going to add in on this. A normal rule of thumb is less is more. But when you're doing a dumb brush, I like to be a little bit over if I can and pluck it out because it saves having to do a whole new dumb brush all over again. Get it in there and spin it up. Any winners on the quiz yet, Dave? I'm sure there's going to be lots of opinions on that. But I'd say Dave has his research well done before he'd ask a question like that. James Venning is on there. How you doing, James? Good to see you. Pigeon's great for wet olive wings. Absolutely, yeah. It never even dawned on me that. Yeah, definitely. Wet olive wings. Pigeon would be quite good for that as well, yeah. Anybody else, any other good suggestions of what we use pigeon for? I'm just going to get spin on this now. It's just a bit slow today. Just tease it out with the fingers there to get it all nicely plucking out. Once I got that done, then I'm going to tie in that red dubbin right there. And as you can see, I'm going to stroke it back and get it going back over that. And you kind of pull it out a bit. Alright? So it's more like it's going over that hackle. Now, and I left myself just a small little bit short. Dave Donovan says his Wi-Fi is down, so he might have to figure out a way of doing that answer in a little while, lads. But all the answers there. So what I'm going to do is just going to fill in a little piece here, put in a small little bit Dublin traditional style, and that'll do. Just because I don't want to. I want a nice transition up into the wing cloaking of the stabler. Now, a little bit of a brush out there to get all those lovely little red seals fur fibres to come back out and marry back into that hackle and that golden olive body. So basically, a guy got onto me during the year and said he was last spring. He got onto me and said he was looking for some No Wi-Fi in pennies, Davey says. But he was looking for what am I saying? A cock robin dabblers, and he wanted one or two little variants. He wanted one with a bit more red bushing out of it, and a bit bushier and stuff like that. So this is what I tied from. Sent it off to him, sent him off half a dozen, and he was on a week later looking for another dozen of them. Had great success with it. So he wanted a little bit of sparkle in the tail, a little sparkle in the wing. And so I've got a bit of bronze mallard here again, and I'm just going to put a little cloak on that, just choosing the section I want to take off the bronze mallard here. Just trimmed off a little bit of a cloak. As we did before, 1/4 above, 2/4 below. Get a little bit of a spin on it to get that cloak out there. If one or two sections, if we need to just manipulate it a bit with your finger nail, do so. Get it all equally cloaked around. And if we got a case of, we can see this little gap here now. I'm not going to over manipulate that cloak to fill that little gap. All I can do is take out another small little snippet. It's actually no harm for that to happen, and show you what I would do anyway in that situation. Another small little snippet. Hold it in there with the thumb. One more turn. And that evens it all up lovely. Okay. Nice simple little thing to do. Now I'm going to just get in there and just start cleaning up that mess a bit. Once we got it tidied up, hold everything back into place, and then start using that Kevlar to get a couple of nice tight turns on that to get it all locked in. Beautiful, lovely, and I can see that red. Not sure how well visible that is there now. So Dave Donovan has given his answers. There is a winner, but he has to check the winner. Okay, the answer is less than 5 minutes for that question, guys. So once you've got a winner, if you wouldn't mind letting me know, and the winner is going to receive, whoever he or she is, a lovely fly box. Okay, and inside this fly box, it's a dry fly box. Okay, so you got one side slotted, one side compartments. Lovely box. We got them on the website there if anyone else is looking for one. I'm going to send it out to the winner on Monday. And don't forget, as usual, folks, tomorrow morning, Kieran, you know, that's a lot of people saying, I know it's one I struggle on a lot. So, you know, just over years of practice, that's the style I picked up. Now, some people take the bronze mallard off to leave the stem on. That helps them a little bit. You know, it's practice. But one definitely good thing, and I actually brought this feather back to show you again, is that if you're trying to cloak with a bronze mallard feather that looks like that, see the way that bend is in it and how bad that looks? That is going to be very, very hard to work with that piece of feather. And remember what I was saying before, if I was taking that feather now and if I was going to have to use it, that would go over the kettle steam for a few seconds and that would come out beautifully and splayed back to its original lovely clean position, and it's much easier to work with. So bronze mallard, if you're finding it difficult to work with bronze mallard, you know, make sure you're getting good bronze mallard for one, and then, you know, if it's not absolutely perfectly fanned out, well then put it over a bit of steam, get it cleaned up. Get a bit steamed up, and hopefully that'll help you a little bit. But look, at the rest of that's practice. Also a good kind of base there. You know, I didn't really mention that much, but like that's why I put on that extra little bit of dubbing. I wanted to get that nice base, and so when I put that feather on and lay it around, it lies in lovely on the body and the hackle and in that. And for the worst answer, Tom, no, unfortunately not, Tom. So now what I'm going to do now is just a little bit of sparkle again into that underwing, or that cloak, should say. And again, I'm going to microglint. Now, why am I using microglint? Because it's so fine. Okay, I could put in a few bits of crystal flash there, but I find it very heavy. And for this fly, he just wanted a subtle little bit of sparkle in the fly. He didn't want it too massive or major. By the way, I actually rang that person 2 days ago to make sure it was okay I tied this fly from, because it really was. He's a joint creation, I should say. So he said, absolutely, by God, all means do. Love to share it. And hopefully a few other lads will get a bit of look over it. So as you can see, once I get the microglint, I'm kind of just stripping it along, and it starts to break up a bit. You can see the way it starts to break up. It's really fine. There is kind of a little mono insert there into that, which gives it enough strength that it stays together. But it's a lovely, subtle kind of little thing to add into a dabbler wing and stuff like that. You don't really want to overpower. And because microglint comes in so many colours, you won't get the crystal flashes. You won't get the crystal flash in those kind of beautiful olives and golds and different things like that. So if you're not working with microglint regularly, you know, definitely get some and start working with it. And you can see once we just put it in there, it's just a lovely little subtle. So I'm just going to fan that out a little bit and then just trap it in. Not too fussy about where it goes. if it falls down around the sides a little bit. We just want a little subtle, kind of tease it and pull it a bit, little subtle sparkle in that wing. Okay. Now we can actually loop this around in underneath and back to the side, and then that'll add another little bit on the lower section if we want. Tighten it off, and we can give all that a little trim up and a little brush after. We'll give it a little bit of a trim there now. So don't just go mad cutting straight across. I kind of go in at a little angle, get a kind of make sure all the different ends, different lengths. There's a lovely subtle little bit of sparkle. Yeah, Graham, it is. It's fantastic. Yeah, it is. Microglint's fantastic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little folded wing on the top of that. So if anyone's watching that suggested a cock robin dabbler, I hope you're enjoying this one. A little bit of an extra wing on top of that. I always like putting that there on top of my dabblers. Makes it look like a beautiful fly. Now you can put a little jungle cock cheeks on there if you want. That's up to yourself. 2 little jungle cock cheeks would really set that fly off beautifully. But that's a very, very fishy pattern. All I'm going to do now, I'm not going to put the jungle cock on it. I'm going to leave that one up to you. Thanks, Tom. I'm going to leave that one up to you. Putting a bit of jungle cock. Just going to put a little bit of black marker onto my Kevlar. Now, when I take pictures of that fly tomorrow for the giveaway, you might get a better idea, a sense of just the lighting. The way the lighting is good here, it doesn't give you a real sense of how that red is in underneath that body, in underneath that cloak. And absolutely, Dave Toohey, great fly over the rocks. Absolutely, Loch Ool. I've got plenty of trout off it on Loch Ool, fishing up around the Italians and stuff like that, coming from the shore out there and over some nice rocky ground. Fantastic fly. Well, that's my take on a cock robin. Just tidy up a little bit of something caught in there. So that's my take on a cock robin. A little bit of a variant there. Lovely little bit of sparkle in the wing. Very, not overpowering, but actually ties in lovely. That color, it's on our website. I couldn't. We've so many colors down there. We're up to 20 colors on the website now at the moment or more of microglint. But check it out. But you can see it just adds a little subtle sparkle into that wing. And when that's wet, with the gold in the body, the little bit of gold in the wing, the golden olive there, and then that red coming out through the cloak and stuff like that. Absolutely very good. So Eugene thinks that was Tom Carroll. I know Tom well, actually. The year Tom Carroll won that competition, Eugene, he came to, we all went to Czech Republic together. And you were on that team as well, sure. Yeah. So it was a cock robin. Fantastic fly. Yeah, Tom Carroll won. But it's a cracker of a fly, lads. Even a standard cock robin is a fly you shouldn't be without. I know it's a great river fly too, believe it or not. Referenced in Peter Riley's book as a really good river fly as well. So Mystic Gold, thanks Graham. Man, I don't even know the name of my own products. Mystic Gold, Graham says that is. Thanks Dalty O'Donnell. Hope you like that one. Thanks Arthur. Really good one, lads. And again, there was a few people on there during the week, actually, that were on the website and they were looking for some of the flies that I tied previously at different shows and stuff like that. I just don't, unfortunately, I don't get time to put all our patterns up on our website and stuff like that. But if there's ever a pattern, thanks, Lane. If there's ever a pattern that someone's particularly looking for, as I always say, pick up the phone and ring me or send me a message or whatever, and I'll get back onto you and we can discuss whatever you want. But there's a real belter now, and I'll tell you that one now in the springtime. A little bit of varnish on the head of that one, because that'll be ready then for whoever wins that tomorrow. We'll have that now some stage over. Oh, please God, the spring, riding a few waves in the west of Ireland or in the Midlands of Ireland or up the north or wherever you may be, and I hope to God that catches a nice trout. And you can think back then to these times and say, geez, that was the fly that Peter Driver tied live on the show there one Saturday night during the lockdown, and here we are out of it, and I hope you do. So lovely little fly there. Yeah, absolutely, Neil. Neil said it'd be interesting to try. Desmond Paul's there, great early season flying the car up. Absolutely, yeah. Um, so it is one for the boxes, lads. One for the boxes. So hope you've enjoyed that one. Okay, I'm going to have the pleasure of taking a little break. Thanks very much to our guest hire. Hails from County Derry. He's been fishing the Agivy and locks all over Ireland for the last 50 years. Fantastic flight there. He's a former ITFA Ulster champion, and he's a Loch Melvin Open winner at the same time. He's on the pro team for Veninsa Dublin, and he also has a web Facebook page that he set up, Irish Loch Flies. Most of you are probably on it or know him at this stage. He does amazing work for cancer research, fundraising, and in particular the Ronnie Cox Memorial fundraiser. We've all seen that. We've all contributed to it. If you haven't, maybe get in touch with him next year, and it's a great contribution. I knew Ronnie well myself when he lived in Wicklow, and we spent many a night on the Brits Bay beaches fishing right through the night and doing one of our fishing for sea turf. So Desmond Paul, Desi Paul has tied us an absolutely beautiful um, wolf, and I'm going to share it with you now. So stay tuned. Keep an eye on this one. This is an absolute beautiful piece of time by Desmond Paul, and I really hope you enjoy it. And I will see you all back in a few minutes, and I got lots more to come after this. So stay tuned. See you all real soon.
Evening, lads. Desi Paul here. Some of you know me, some maybe not so much, but I'm going to tie one of Bert Atkins' wolf patterns, a green wolf. So the hook I am using is a Camazon B160 in size 8. So that will have the shank length of a size 10, but the gape of a size 8. Just gives you a bit more open gape to work with on a big dry fly, especially. Thread I'm using is Semperfli waxed brown olive. It's a 12-0. I'm just putting a bit more wax through it, and I'll continue to do that as we go. Just start lay down a layer of thread from the eye and take it well down the shank and break off, and return it back up till we're about probably 4 mil or so from the eye. I don't know how many of you know Bert Atkins, or maybe you've probably heard the name, but Bert came up with this fly 30 plus years ago. So the wing on it is yellow bucktail, but not the bright yellow, the brownish yellow from the back of the tail. So if you know any salmon fly tyers that are tying hair wings, you can probably go and get hold of their discarded yellow bucktails, because they don't use this fibre. So I'm going to cut a good clump, and I'm just going to kind of pull out the under fur and the rubbish, and then I'm just going to kind of line up the tips by hand. You can see they're a bit all over the show at the minute. Just bear with me and we'll get them pretty well lined up. You'll always get the odd rogue, but it's not too bad. Just taking out a bit more of the fluff. Now the wing length, I would normally tie it about 1.5 times the shank. Up to yourself, just depends how big you want your wings. So just come round with a few tight turns. Then we're going to cut these tail at an angle, like so. Just build a little taper in. Now I'm going to put a little dab of super glue on these cut ends. And I'll try to get them tied in without losing the wing around the hook, which does happen quite often. You'll be surprised. So nice tight turns. Not bad. Take that off. And we're ready for our tail, which again is the same material, yellow fibres or the brownish fibres from the yellow bucktail. So again, I'll take a little clump off. We'll level them up pretty well. It's not bad. Our tail length again. I usually tie them quite short. It's up to yourself. You can have that as a big long trailing shuck if you want. A few turns into catch. Lift all the tail ends, and again I'll come in and try and get my fingers out of the way so you see what I'm doing. Cut at an angle. So this is basically to build our taper into the body. Not too bad. Bit of wax again. Now if I were doing a whole set of these, basically this is as far as I would go, and I'll just finish here and put it away. But now we're just going to come up in front of the wing. I'll take the thread right to the eye and then come back down and build up a little rump in front of the wing. And that'll lift it and splay it for you. Now, when I'm tying wolves, I tend to leave it like this because I think it's a better profile. If you're a fish looking up at it, I think that's a nicer profile than splitting them and tying them as two separates. But Bert originally separated them, so I'm just going to do the same. Just come in with a couple of figure eights. Just to separate. I know lots of tyers will wrap around each wing, And again, that's up to yourselves, personal choice. Now, the rib on the fly is Glow-Brite, and I believe it's Glow-Brite number 10. I don't have the label on it, I'm sure it's Glow-Brite 10. We'll just take a small length of that off. Just going to damp those wings a bit. Just catch it on the side and tighten up a couple of turns just to hold it. And the body is, now this dates the fly for us. So the body is Lure Flash Antron body wool. And it is, I don't know if you can see it, it's a medium olive AW20. Remember Peter said last week that he went onto a store for some materials and just kept adding and adding and adding until they ran out of stock. Well, the next time I go to buy this, that's what I'm going to do, because once I don't have any more of this, I'm going to be in terrible strait as far as green wolves are concerned. So I'm just going to catch it on the side. Tighten it up. Bring it back to the tail. And we'll take our thread up to where we want our body to end. And just bring our antron up. One wing fibre is going to be a nuisance, but we'll sort them in a second. So just catch that in. A few turns to lock. And clip away. And then our rib. So you can flatten this out or tighten it up, whichever you prefer. So put a turn in front just to lock it, a couple of turns in to hold. Hackle. The hackle is just an olive hackle. Now, it depends on the fly coming off your local water. You could go kind of medium olive, you could go slightly darker. I even have a kind of very dark grizzle. So we'll go with the darkish one for now. Select I'm not quite happy with that one. A better hackle than that. That's what happens whenever you tie a lot of wolves. Here we go. A bit of wax just So as in all dry flies, the dull side of the feather is towards me, so we'll be winding that to the, just catch it at the stem. And bring my tying thread to the back to the body. I'm just going to wet these wings again just to help them sit into the way. I'll do 2 or 3 turns just behind the eye to start with. Bring it to the front, hold back the wing, do a couple at the front, and then I will work my way back again. Another couple of turns at the front, stroke the wing forward. Now we're behind the wing with our turns. Work back to our tying silk, tying thread. Bring all the hackles forward that you can. Just bring 1 turn in behind. Now we're back. So I'm going to put 1 turn of tying thread at the eye side of my hackle, and then I'm going to put 1 turn behind it. So basically that's the hackle locked in. I'm just going to give my thread a little tighten up, and now I will work my thread up through the hackle. Lift your wing, bring it in front, again work it through your hackle, get to the eye, take everything back, form your head. Just come in and whip finish. You could apply varnish at this stage, but just for tidiness I'm just going to do the whip finish. Whip finish. Break off our hackle. And keep that for the next fly. And take off our thread. And there we have Bert Atkins Green Wolf. You can do a double hackle in them. In fact, I have another body done here, so I'll show you that just as an example. Excuse me. Put this in the hook just to let you see how you handle a double hackle like. So we'll just catch your thread in. Take this back a little bit. Tie her body the same way, just the rib in, and drawn body material. Take our body up. Turn over, turn in front. Lock in. Bring our rib up. Turn over, turn in front. Let's see. What I'll do is I'll use this kind of sooty cape just to see if it'll show up. And we'll use a lighter roll of haggle, just it'll show what we're doing easier. So I'm going to get the two haggles. So I have my light olive one, my sooty one. I'll just marry up the ends so I can tie them in at the same time here. I'll just catch them in on the side, same as I did before. Lift the wing up. Oh, I haven't brought the wing up, but I'll do that now. Just we'll just leave him in one spot. So what I'll do with this is I'll take the first haggle, the one closest to the eye, there we go. Better coming out now than later. Oh dear. This haggle doesn't want to play ball. There you go. So we'll wind the first one on, bring the tying silk back, and we'll catch that in. A couple of turns, and our thread is now at the back. I would take our second haggle. And you can wind that through the first one. Same process as before. Couple of turns at the front. Bring your wing out of the way again. Wind back through. We get to the back, bring everything forward, turn a haggle, and one turn of thread in front of the haggle, one turn in behind, and then bring our tying silk up through both haggles. So if you're tying like a maybe a grey wolf, and you're putting a ginger hackle in and a grizzle hackle in. This is the way to do it. And wind your silk up through them basically protects your hackles. It will make your fly last a lot longer. Bring everything back. Hold it back with our whip finish. Please let it go. We can break off our hackle. Go for silk. It's a double hackled version of Green Wolf. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it informative. I know the fly works. I guess it's been fished for, as I say, 35, 40 years, and it's been a pleasure. And if you need any other help or advice or whatever, give me a shout. I'm on Facebook. You can find me there. Thanks very much for watching.
Wow, beautiful. Thanks so much, Des. That was absolutely fantastic, Tanya. Beautiful to sit and watch other gifted fly tyers. Probably more gifted than myself, but watch them at work. It is a beautiful art. And isn't it amazing? I was just sitting watching it and reading all their comments, guys, and things like that. Isn't it amazing how many magnificent fly tyers we have in this country? Absolutely some outstanding fly tyers. The stuff you see on Facebook there, YouTube, Irish fly tying is at its strongest ever, I'm convinced of. Fantastic stuff. And great to see people sharing. This forum that we've created here, while in some way it is about my business and stuff like that because it's my livelihood. But at the same time, I never set it up or start doing this to, for product promotion or shoving product down people's neck and stuff like that. Hence, we don't really do much product promotion on it. I tell you what we're tying, and we use materials that I don't even sell anyway. But isn't it great to see people coming on and sharing like that? And that's what makes it all worthwhile for me. So Des, thanks so much. Absolute gentleman. Does amazing work there for cancer research, fundraising and stuff, the Ronnie Cox Memorial. So watch out for that one, guys. Give Des a like there. Give him a bit of support when he's got that up and running next year or whenever it comes around again. And really, really appreciate it for sharing that, Des. Thanks very much. And if anybody out there, absolutely anybody out there, wants to send us in a video, tie their favorite fly, send us in a video. Absolutely no problem. We'll put it up on the show. Make sure it's we can see what you're doing and stuff like that. Do a little bit of talk over, and would love to have more guest hires on like that come on and show their skills and share their beautiful patterns. That was fantastic. Absolutely beautiful thing to watch. Well done. So we're going to move on here. We're back into the second half of our show. Hope everybody's doing well, having a good evening. Great to get a little break. Thanks for that, Days. I got to go down and get a drink, and we got a bit of snow falling here in Kilkenny now, so it's great. Hopefully a bit will fall and it'll give the kids something to do tomorrow. Save us having to think of what to do every day. It's becoming such an exercise every day. God, what are we going to do with them today to entertain them? I got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they take a bit of entertaining, I can tell you. So it's a little bit of snow. Actually, I would be quite welcome. At least to get them out and have a little bit of fun. But we're going to move on here tonight. We still have 3 more patterns to go. Going to do a streamer pattern here now for you, an Italian streamer pattern. Then I'm going to do the Tubbs Indispensable, and I'm saving that little small and black for Tom Ankertel there till the end of the show. So stay with us, hit the share button, and we'll press on here, and if anybody has any comments or feedback or anything like that at all, please, Graham is on there saying you can have all the snow you want. Look at Robbie's, no problem. I enjoyed it. It was Saturday night too, so it's great, you know. And I love the feedback, and I love reading back through the comments. There's be some right banter on there over the night and stuff like that. Okay, so this is a fly called, well, not this particular pattern, but the original is called the Rocco. Anyone else ever came across the Rocco? Hubert Smith, if you're on there, Dave Donovan, I know Robbie Phelan, Mark Driver, you'd all know what the Rocco is. All, you know, it's a serious competition streamer. It's an Italian style. We're not going to do the original pattern. The original pattern is a particular colour. We are going to do a little variation of it, and the reason why I'm doing this variation is one I found to work best in Irish waters, be it bank fishing, rivers, and it has, it was, if any of our BC friends are on there tonight, they're normally, no, not on the Heineken tonight, Kieran Sherlock, no, not on the Heineken tonight. I went for something a little stronger tonight. Middle of November, lockdown is really getting tough, and I said, you know what, Saturday night, going to have a drink with the boys and girls online. So I have a little bit of vodka and orange there actually, and just sipping away in it. It's quite nice. But this fly is outstanding for rivers. The original pattern, which is that one there. Now this is fairly battered. Okay, forgive me for like it's been through the mill, but that's an original Rocco type by Alessandro Feschi. Beautiful streamer, absolute lethal European rivers. If you're a tournament angler and you're going to Worlds and Europeans, you shouldn't really be going with one of these in your box, or a dozen of them. Fantastic pattern, but there is a variation. Now the variation we're going to try to say, all our BC fans, if you're on there tonight, guys and girls, this is the one that we caught. I caught that trout in Corbett, 67 centimetres on this fly, and even during practice session, this fly was really good for us in practice and stuff. Hence, that's why I fished it in that session. Never took it off for the whole session. I think I know I was 7 or 8. Didn't win the session, but I enjoyed it. So really good pattern, but the tie is very, very, very similar to what we do for the Rocco. Okay, so we got some Kevlar there on a size 12 WSL. Size 12 WSL, and I got a 3mm countersunk bead up on that chartreuse bead, and I'm going to take a little bit of white. Now, the one key secret about tying a Rocco is it's got to be slim. Okay, it's got to be slim, so less is more. We don't want a big. Now you only come back there as far as the hook point on the WSL. You can see, so we're going to have quite a short little body and stuff like on this. We don't want a massive big long body, so a small little bit of white marabou in there on the tail. Tie that in, secured and well. You want a long tail on this. This thing is going to wiggle, move phenomenally through the water. And when those stocked rainbows, they are not going to pluck the tail of this one. They are just going to attack. Okay, there's no such thing as plucking tails on a Rocco. I remember myself and Hubert fishing Slovenia, Hubert Smith and Dave Donovan over there at the World Championships, and we were seeing fish move halfway across the river once they seen this thing coming. They're just like trains, and there was no tail plucking, I can guarantee you. And I've used it on still waters here in Ireland. Leash Angling Centre, Dare Springs, absolutely works a treat. So it's not something that has been overly tied or used, but it is a really good fly. Now, and bear with me just for a second. I actually have the original here in front of me, and I'm just watching. There's a few different stages of tying this one. So for the body, I'm going to use a little bit. Now it's not a little bit of lime green marabou. It's a frail enough fly, unfortunately. So it do, you want. That's why I said if you're going to the tournament, you want a dozen of these with you, because you got a very long, slender tail. The body is marabou. There's no ribbon going in it. They will tend to pull apart after a couple of fish, but hey, who minds if you get 2 or 3 fish on it, or 4 or 5, and then if it falls apart, just put up a bloody new one and get another 2 or 3 on it. They're not a complicated tie, but the very most important thing is they got to be slim. Okay, these got to be super slim. The bead is chartreuse on this one. The bead is chartreuse. Now this is just, I have loads of variants. I have black and olive ones, these, and now this is the only problem. I made a bit of a boo-boo there. Now I've got to sort out the chartreuse from the white, or the lime green, should I say, from the white and marabou. Just bear with me. I think I have most of it there now. The bead is chartreuse. Now I've saved lots of variants of this fly. I do it in a black and olive. I do it, a couple of different colours. So it's one we're playing with. So I have different colour beads on it. Just this one has been the most distinctive colour combination for our waters over here. And I say because I've just done so well in BC, and we always have a couple of BC friends on there. I said I'd share with you tonight. And of course, a fly like this is not meant to be moved slow. Hi, Alessandro. Hope you're liking my interpretation of your amazing fly. But it's got to be moved fast. This has got to be moved fast. It's got to be stripped back quite aggressively, in order to really get to achieve all its potential. Okay, because say once they spot it and they spot that tail moving and the slimness and sleekness of this fly, well then they're going to attack it. And I remember Alessandro's on there as well. I remember one time we were out and in Slovenia, I think it was, and Alessandro, showed us pattern and we were tying it and using and stuff like that. And one day then he was looking at my box and he said, that we were using the Roca, and he looked at my Roca. He said, "That's no Roca. Too fat, too fat." I was saying a bit like myself, but so it's got to be slim. It's got to be super slim. So now I'm just taking a bit of olive, damsel olive, marabou, and I'm tying that in over the top there like that. Again, only a couple of strands. Don't overdress this fly. That's the biggest problem with Roca. Overdressing it. Hey George, thanks very much. George Burgess is on there, guys. How you doing, George? Hope you're keeping well yourself. Great to have you on here tonight. Great to have everyone on here tonight as usual. Great to see people's contributions. So for next week, I've got a few shows planned. I think we're going to be here, lads, pretty much until March. So I've got a few shows planned. Really good ones. That I've planned, and I think that would actually, that whole theme would make a great show. But I kind of decided just to break it up. So all I'm putting in there, by the way, is a little bit of Spectra. Lime green Spectra just behind that bead. I kind of, said I'd break it up a little bit and let you guys choose of stuff you want to see, and then I kind of come in with a few patterns. So I think it worked really well this week because the messages I had during the week, some of the great comments on the great comments we had on the show and stuff last week. So I think we're going to go with another week of this. I think there's so many people out there that have such a desire to see their patterns or their favorite patterns, or maybe something that we can tie on their venues. I tie a lot of flies for a lot of venues around Ireland and the UK. So just going to finish off that thread and take that thread away for a minute. So if anybody has any suggestions, absolutely, Alessandro. Yeah, it works a treat over here, especially this color variation. If anybody has any patterns or any suggestions for next week's show, please send them across in a message or contact us during the week. And again, we'll do exactly what we did tonight. I look back through all the messages, come up with some patterns, not just phantom patterns that have really worked well for us, over the years. We've either come across them in competition or whatever it may be. So please, by all means, send me a message or put it up there on the stream. So please do. There was a message coming there and I just want to see it. Graham Mulvey, 15 years ago, yourself back home taught me how to start fly tank. Wow, how you doing, Graham? God, it's been a long time. Yeah, they used to be great. So we used to have a little fly tying session in Rathdrum Trout Anglers. Myself and Pat Cullen, when we had Irish fly tying, we had a little session in Rathdrum Trout Anglers clubhouse there years ago. We did a couple of years there, and yeah, good idea, Dominic. We can certainly do that. Do a lock day. So we can do maybe something for Corob next week, do something for Melvin the week after, Mask Clean, etc. Aaron. Yeah, that's a really good session, Dominic. Anybody else? So whatever suggestions come in, please send them in. We're going to be here till probably March, if not even longer, guys. James Gibson thinks I'll be here till Christmas. There's some stage we're going to have to take a break. I love this look. I don't want to take a break at all, but I have been discussing it with Mark. Absolutely, George Burgess. We could do a stillwater pattern. I've got one stillwater pattern that I use for sea bass. That's absolutely fantastic. It's my go-to pattern the whole time. No problem sharing it. Which is don't do an over lot of pike fishing, but maybe if we had a guest hire that would like to do a pike fly for us, would be lovely. So stimulator, Michael Scully. Yeah, we can certainly do a stimmy as well. I think we did one stimmy last week. We did a stimmy last week, Michael. But look, send across your suggestions, guys. Viewer's choice, and we'll keep ourselves busy every Saturday. So what I got here now is a bit of glow break number 7. Okay, and just on the butt end, I'm going to catch those 2 marabouts. Now, it's important here, especially for that olive marabou on the top. You've got to catch it, stroke it back, and get it nice and tight to the body. And then just where you started off that lime green, get a turn of that. hot orange in there. I'm going to have to go another turn or two, I'd say. Again, we're not looking to over do that button, okay? Take away your waster. I'm just going to get into it. We'll go back over this side altogether. So message me away there for next week, and I'll make the next couple of weeks over. So even out of last week's suggestions, I thought, yes, George, you're absolutely more than welcome. Tie us up something there for pike fly. Send me a video. Send it to me during the week, and we can have a look at it, and we can post that up next week. So anybody there that has a video or want to share something, say we got to be able to see the detail of the fly, and we want a bit of a talk over to entertain and give people a good understanding of what you're doing. So we're just going to put a little whip finish on that. Now my rationale, I'm not sure why that hot spot was tied there to butt, but my rationale is that's a real target point for the fish. Okay, real target point for fish. That there is an Italian style Rocco. Olive, lime green and white. Dylan Roberts, Polish woven bugs. Do you know what, Dylan? That's a great idea. I haven't tied a Polish Kites Imperial. Well done. Yeah, that Michael Callaghan's there's some great stuff coming in here. So Neil Hammond's on there saying, love to see a good pike fly. So maybe we might do something like that. It's important we include everybody. So I don't want to be tying all river stuff and lake stuff, and but a pike fly. But that's a fly that you can see how slim, sleek that is. I'm going to take it out of that there now and show you a little bit full spectrum of kind of the length of that tail and stuff. I brought my tweezers up tonight. I didn't have it last week with me, but you can see that there now, the full kind of length of it. Okay, it's got to be long, very, very slim. Let's wet it up. That's what's licensed away. And I can tell you one thing, that tail moves. It moves unbelievable. And don't worry about tail plucking in that fly, lads. Don't worry about it. Trust me, you don't have to worry about it. They won't stop. They'll hit that hook. Thanks, Georgie, for that. We'll get on to you during the week there. We'll make contact, and we'll do it. That fly there is really, really good for Irish bank fishing. Color variations vary for the original. Probably even the tying style vary. What fly line for streamers, Peter? Good question. Depends, Robert. I love the die 3 sweep, die 5 sweep. Depends where I'm fishing. If I'm fishing, absolutely, Arthur. Oh yeah, I do a silver, kind of a white and a silver version of that with a grey, kind of a grey marabou, and fantastic for pulling for trout. Yeah, so the one thing about that fly, in order for that to be effective, you got to strip it fast. And if I'm on the river, it's like I'm starting a chainsaw. I'm pulling back as hard as I can to get it. Lovely, lovely pattern. Vary your color combinations to get it. Remember the Rocco, absolutely, Alessandro. What a fly, guys. That got me the longest fish in North American lock style 2 years ago. And I always thank Alessandro for sharing. Beautiful fly, lads. So hope he's enjoyed that one. That's there going into the little tub there for tomorrow's winners. Don't forget, tomorrow morning or at some stage when I get the chance, I'll photograph those flies. I'll put up a very simple question that's related to tonight's show, and first answer in wins those flies. I hope everyone has been enjoying their flies they've won so far. There's a couple others there that I've tied before the show, and we'll throw them into you there as well. So check that out tomorrow morning on our Facebook page where the live show is right now, Gary Fly, and we'll do that tomorrow. So right, we're going to move on to these two. We've been looking forward to these two all night, so say that saved last. We're going to run a little bit over time tonight, 5-10. But hey, look, I don't mind. Whoever's there that wants to see these two flies. Tom, sorry, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that Killarney special. A little bit longer, but not too much longer. We're going to do that Tubbs, okay? We're going to do a Tubbs indispensable. So R.S. Austin, mentioned earlier on, 1890 came up with a Tubbs indispensable, okay? He was from Devon, Southwest England. Really good trout fly. I'm actually reading a few little prompts I have over here beside me. I wouldn't remember all this, but I'll bring it a bit closer. So really good trout fly when trout were taking pale midges or mayflies, and really excellent in the summer's evens. Anyone that has fished a Tubbs indispensable will know how devastating it can be. Hi Alan. Alan Kenny's on there. Hope you're keeping well, Alan, and the boys and the wife and all well up there in Castlecomer. Now, the one thing that makes the Tubbs indispensable so famous, well, part of it, one is catching an awful lot of fish. The second, good man Tom, The second is the dubbin, the magic dubbin that's used for it. Okay, so you've seen a few comments there at the start when I mentioned the tubs about the testicles of a ram. That's where you get part of the dubbin for the original tubs indispensable, is from the wool of the ram's indispensable part, the testicles. Okay, there's a really good article on. If you Google Tubbs Indispensable Dry Fly, you'll come across. I meant to write down that website, but there's a very good article there that gives you a whole rundown of the fly tire. It's entertaining reading. So please Google it, check it out. There's some yolks. So it's half wool from that. Then there's a bit of yellow lemon spaniel, pale pink from a hare's ear, and the original pattern had mohair. When his daughter took over tying the fly, she put in red seals fur instead of the mohair red. Okay. So loads of comments coming on there. Dave Toohey, brilliant fly for play water. Absolutely fantastic fly. And I can remember as a young lad starting on down the Avamore, a few older anglers there like Lockie Kinsella and those guys, cleaning up on the river on Tubbs Indispensable. Fantastic fly. Hard to find them. Back then, it wasn't the abundance of fly tires we have nowadays around the country. But really good one. Say one that's kind of slipping by a little bit. And there was one person actually only suggested this. And because of it, I said, you know what, there's a fly I haven't thought of in a long time. So that's a fly we're actually going to do. Okay? Going to tie it in 2 minds now whether I do it on a 14 or a 16. I think I'm going to do it on a... I'm going to do it on a 14, which is a bit large, just because, absolutely, James Gibson, you want to be very careful when you're collecting the dubbin. I am not going to do the original dubbin tonight, that's by the way. I don't have any wool from ram's testicles available at the moment. We're all out of stock at the moment, unfortunately. But if anyone's willing to send us down a bit of a stock of that there, any people online there that might have a little bit of stock, I'd gladly take it in the post. Shane, very good, yeah. Loads of lads out chasing rams tomorrow. It'll be some crack on the hills tomorrow, all right, out chasing the rams. I can just picture it now. But that's the original dress, and that's what makes the tub so apparently world famous. And apparently, Mr. Austin, he got so sick of tying. I think he was a doctor or a chemist or pharmacist or something at the same time, and he got so bloody sick of tying this goddamn fly. He was nearly sorry he invented it. Fantastic fly. What we're going to use for tying thread here is just laughing with Shane. Picturing all these lads out tomorrow driving around Ireland looking for rams in the fields to get some wool off them. Best of luck tomorrow. If anybody does happen to gather a bit, get me a bit, will you? I'm really busy tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to gather a bit, but if someone does get a bit, I'd appreciate it if you throw me down a bit. So it's the hackle is, if I'm not mistaken, it's a honey. I'm actually just going into a reference book here I have that mentions it. The pattern, and I'm just going to make sure I get it right for you. The tail is a honey done kind of cock saddle. Graham Lanigan's on there to go. Good stuff. Delighted, Kevin. Delighted was able to help you out. Delighted was able to help you out with that one. Good stuff. Hope you have as much fun with that rod as I do with my one. Good stuff. So I got a little bit of kind of, I'm not going to say I have honey done, but it's as close as I have to right now at the moment. And it certainly will do the trick. So I'm just stripping off a couple little fibres here. Just to create a little tail. Now I'm going to do this, and what I should have done first, do you know what I'm actually going to do first? I'm going to do a parachute style on this one. This is one I have used over the last number of seasons, and I was distracted by all them very entertaining comments that are coming up there. Gavin Howard found one anyway. Good man, Gavin. You know what it looks like now, Gavin. So you know what yourself and Graham know what to go looking for now tomorrow. I'm going to put a little pink post on this one. Okay, so I'm going to do it with this parachute style, if you don't mind, because this is something that I actually use. So I want to tie exactly what I use at the moment. So rather than more original style, so you guys can see it and get some really good use of it. Yeah, good man, Raymond. Lucas found one there as well. Lucas, good stuff. So I'm just going to put a little pink post on there. That's the Biscari Fly High Vis pink post. It's our own pink post. I love it. It's great. Doesn't gather any water. Quite fine. Very, very high vis and really good. Going to put a little post on that there, as you can see. bring down if I didn't mention, or maybe I did mention, the thread for this tie-in of this one is Primrose. So I'm using the Semperfli 80 waxed classic wax trade. Actually, really good trade. I'm really starting to like it over the last number of months. Even though Kevlar will always be my go-to for everything, but when I do have to use color trades, I must say, the Semperfli classic wax is right up there. It's a fantastic trade, really strong, very easy to work with, lovely range of colors, and we're gonna leave that little tail now. Lovely range of colors, and so a little honey done tail there. And so we got a primrose body, so we're just going to bring that body back up a lot. Make a little body. That probably post could do being up a little bit. I'm going to see if I can get it. Just a mil or two, a little bit higher up the hook. That's okay. Once you're happy with your body, not going to tie a massive. Absolutely, Kieran reckons to be a fool lads counting the rams tonight rather than counting sheep. Yeah. So there we go. A little bit of a post there. You can see. We're going to do our hackle. So look at our hackle. What hackle I'm going to use is kind of a honey grizzle. It's this one here. I love it, and I have used this before, and it does work really quite well. Lucas, good man, Lucas. So it's a lovely hackle. I have a long time, and I have been using this for this particular fly. So I'm going to select and hackle. Look, if, get an awful lot of people say, "Oh, what hackle do I use for that? What hackle do I use for this?" I have a very simple way of doing it. When I'm here like this, I put the cape to the side. I kind of put the hackle on it. If it's exactly the size, that one's a little bit big, probably. I'll come further down the hackle a little bit. Select something a bit further down near to the top of it. Check it out. Lovely. Simple as that. You can get the gauges and stuff as well, and they could be quite handy. But for me, that's the way I do it. Going to tie that in there. I'm not very technical on how I do my kinks or my parachutes. I put them all in the same, tie them all the same, never have any problem catching fish on them. It's just the way I do it. So there's plenty of other techniques out there if anybody wants to really get into their hackles. I just like to show exactly the way I do it. So now we're going to mix up a little bit of dubbing. We don't have we don't have any ram, okay? But I have a bit of pink, have a little bit of pale yellow, have a little bit of red seals fur, and we're gonna mix them up, okay? We're gonna mix them up. So a little bit of yellow there, in with the red seals fur. And this I found this to be a good enough substitute. Sometimes there's lots of stuff we've had to substitute as fly tires over the years, especially out of those brilliant. Alan Kenny just says the fly box is all done and ready to go post to Martin Fennessy. He won over the Christmas draw. No panic. Thanks a million, Alan, for that. So I'm kind of adding in a third for the moment. I'll mix it up here now a little bit. Just got a little tub. And you can see I've got me little bits of dubbins there. I'm just going to give them a bit of a tease and a pull apart to get that right texture. Make sure it's kind of, and I'm kind of nearly breaking it as such in a way with my fingers. To get it nice and fine, get a nice mix on it. Small amount to do a lot. We're only talking about a little thorax for a parachute. A little bit too red, maybe. Another pinch of yellow and another little pinch of pink going in there. What a fantastic fly, though. It's a lovely fly to fish. For straight dry flies, it's definitely one you should have in the box. I know I definitely have them in the box. I always have had them in the box. So there we go. A little bit of a mix there now. You can see it. It doesn't quite. I'm actually looking at the camera here now on the laptop. Maybe not showing its true colour, but I can see the colour of it. Maybe needs another little bit of a small little pinch of pink there again, I think. Just to give it an extra little bit of pinkiness. I know you definitely would see Pale Wateries, Patrick McCarthy's on there. You'll go back along the comments there a bit, Patrick, and you see a lot of guys were saying this is excellent for Pale Wateries. I know growing up during the night rise, this fly, the badger quail, these were all patterns. The silver sage, they were patterns you just couldn't go to the river without for an even rise. And I still do. I don't fish many even risings anymore, but it's something I'm going to get a bit back into this year now, is fishing some evening rises. Because, tournaments are gone again this year and stuff like that. So I'm going to get back in. This year into some evening rise fishing. I haven't done really any lot of it, but definitely a Tubbs Indispensable is something you should have with you for an evening rise. Fantastic fly catch trout. And speaking of tournaments, I was actually talking to a video editor the other day. For anyone that's interested, there's a few guys on there. There's a few guys on there that would have taken part or helped out in the Thomastown competition, and I have seen a few snippets of our video that's coming, 1 hour long episode video of the tournament that we shot in the tournament just gone last September. And I cannot joke, lads. You're gonna. This is phenomenal. Absolutely, the job that he's done on it, Colin Mullally, is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. He showed me a clip for last night, and I'm not joking. It took me hours to go to sleep. I couldn't stop thinking about when the rest of it's coming. So he hopes to have it finished probably before the start of the season. We will put up kind of a little bit of a premiere online and let everyone know, a little bit of a clip or two, let everyone know when it's coming out. But that is going to be some watch, okay? That's going to be some watch, because most people know by now, we hope, or we're at least going to try, way too much on that, we're at least going to try and host the European Championships here at some stage in the road. And the COVID has messed our plans up an awful lot. But we still have aspirations to hold it. I think it'd be fantastic to bring a major championship like that to Ireland. We hope to host it here in Kilkenny at some stage in the future. And this video will hopefully go as part of our bid to Fipsmoosh. Absolutely, Kieran Sherlock, yeah. And it's something I haven't been doing enough of, Kieran, over the last couple of years, is fishing the evening rise. Just tying in a little bunch of that there. In under that. Going to take my hackle. I'm just going to keep it nice and low down on top of that fly. So I didn't tie it up to stock. If anybody thinks, geez, you didn't tie that up to stock. I didn't want to tie it up to stock. I want to keep it as low as I can on top of that. As you can see, right down on top of it. Okay? This is not going to support it. Now, it's on a 14. I would rather probably on a 16 or an 18 if anyone's tying it. I'm tying it on a 14 just so it makes it a little bit easier for all you folks to have a gawk at it. So I just tied it in around. Got me thread there to get in underneath between the hackle and Tommy Lane. Oh yeah, geez, Tommy. Yeah, there's going to be maybe there might be a few secrets given away now, Tommy, because there was a lot of cameras around when people weren't watching and stuff like that. So it's interesting. He said there's so much footage, so much quality footage there. It's taken him this long to go through it. Like, he was up with me on the Thursday. He was there on the Friday. He was at the meeting on the Friday night. The Thursday night was the Friday night. We had a meeting. He was at the live draw. So much footage there that he's trying to get through. He's condensed it all. And he's camera work. I know if anyone has seen his camera work before, he's done some stuff for the Antrim Trout Anglers. He did this stuff for Raymond Conway there as well. He's outstanding. Like, he really knows what the angler wants because he's a fisherman himself. So the angles of the camera and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be a watch. We'll make sure everyone's well ready for that one. Have it on the TV. We won't substitute Saturday night flight time for it. We might put it out on a Sunday. But definitely want to watch out. Going to just take away my little bit of thread there. Going to trim up my old post. Say 16 or an 18 now, and that would be an absolute beaut. 14 is just a little too big for my liking, but I don't mind time just for a little bit of a brush on that. Dubbing. Just to make sure it's not a little ball under the fly. As you can see, it's kind of tapered out a little bit more there now. Tidy up around the hook a little bit where there's one or two little fibres that we just cut. And even at a 14, I can tell you that'll catch fish. That's a Tubbs Indispensable. Minus the ram's wool. Great, yeah, great to see the secrets coming out. Yeah, that's a double indispensable, minus the ram's testicle wool, but absolute cracking fly, lads. One well worth having. Absolutely should be in every dry fly man's box. If not as a parachute style, in original style, but that's one I have used. Absolutely, yeah. Dylan Roberts would look great with a paraloop hackle. That is one I have used constantly over the last number of years, and I've taken a lot of fish on the blind with that. That fly, even just coming into evening time when fishing gets quiet and you just get an odd trout sipping away here, you will take fish on the blind with it. Very simple little toy, but really one worth having in the box. It looks fantastic there in the hand. Very natural looking. You can see it. That bit of pink and stuff there is beautiful. So that honey dun cape, I don't ask me where I got it, lads, but that honey dun grizzle is lovely for doing that fly. So I said I'd share that one, which is tonight, and give you a little bit of a taster. That's going into the tub there for tomorrow. Don't forget to watch out for that tomorrow. Now we're going to move on to the something small and black for all those Killarney anglers that are out there. If anybody knows any Killarney anglers that aren't watching, tag their name in the stream there and get them online to see this one. I wouldn't say it's anything too major special, to be quite honest with you. We have fished it quite a lot in Killarney over the years and have had a lot of success on it. Robbie, I know Robbie has an awful heartache story about this fly. Thanks, Kieran. What's the dubbing, Michael? So basically the dubbing, you're going to have to Google. Thanks, Martin Fennessy. The parachute has always been good for me. Definitely very good. Thanks, Raymond, for that. Brilliant. But Michael, if you Google the tubs indispensable, that will give you, there's a really good article. Will be number 1 or number 2 on your Google search list. Globalflyfisher.co.uk, I think, is the website. I was reading it there during the week. Really lovely story there about that fly. Gives you full insight to the person that designed it back in 1890, his daughter who took up the mantle after he stopped tying, and how it progressed on to today. So read that one, Global Fly Fisher. If I'm not mistaken. Good man, James. Good man. Right, so we're going to move on to something small and black. Right, so I wouldn't say this is a massive, but this is which is my time. Robbie had a real heartbreak of it. I know a few people. Robbie's on there, lads. Sorry, Robbie. Anyone got a few tissues there? Drop them over to Kilmallock. Mikey Foley, if you're near Robbie there, drop them over a few tissues as we talk about this fly. So unfortunately, we all went to Killarney for an All Ireland one year. No, unfortunately, it was an absolutely fantastic week. We went for a week, rented a cottage, stayed there for the week. Myself, Mark Driver, Robbie. There was a whole heap of Leinster lads went down there. We had a great crack. And that's what it's all about, lads. Tournament fishing. Yes, you take it seriously. Yes, we put in the time and the effort and all that. Sometimes competition anglers get a bad rap for being, not sharing and different things like that and whatever else. But for a lot of us, it is the whole. Neil Walker's on there. You haven't missed the fight yet, Neil. No, you haven't missed the fight yet. That's something that was just, I made a typo. You all must know me by now, lads. I'm terrible at spelling, and I'm making an awful lot of typos. And the wife just give out to me, says, "God, I don't believe you spelled this wrong. Don't be so wrong." I said, "Look, what should they all know by now? It's me." So I spelled night or fight instead of night. So Neil thought we were going to have. Brilliant. Thanks a million for that, Michael Byrne. Absolutely fantastic. Good luck finding the materials. Thanks a million. So Killarney, we went down to Killarney for the week, which were fishing it all week. Had some really good success, really blew up a gale during the competition and stuff. But sure, look, that's lock style fishing. These things happen on the day of the competition. We didn't do too well as such. Had a couple of fish, Mark, a couple of fish, Albert Mulhall, a few of the Leinsters. But unfortunately, Robbie got into a real run of fish. And as we all know, Killarney lakes are small, or the trout are small, run of fish down there generally, and it was catch and release 20 centimeters, I think. And Robbie had a net that had the holes in the net were too big. I'm not sure quite the numbers, Robbie. Do you remember what won it that year? It wasn't a big number because it was so bad. It was 8 or 9 won it. And I think Robbie had a lot more than that fell through the holes of the net. And they didn't count because they'd fall through the net. They'd fall through the net and plop back into the lake. So unfortunately, Robbie didn't medal that day. He should have took home the gold, but we had our homework done, and we knew one of us would get a crack at it. So Robbie was that lucky person. Good boatman, put him in on the shore, pulling this little black fly, Mark's little caddis as well, back off the shore, and he was meeting the trout, but unfortunately didn't have it. Lesson learned, Rob. And listen, learn to any other young guys that are out there watching or people watching. It's not just about getting your flies right and being able to throw the longest cast. If you don't have the full spectrum addressed and looked at properly, like your land and net systems, your everything else like that, be a river or lake, one thing lets you down. One thing lets you down. The whole thing falls apart. So listen, learn to Rob. For all of us, yeah. So you got to lose land net in a sense. But anyway, we're going to try this little black. This was a little black fly we tied. Tied that week, and it was one of the good ones. So we're going to get into that now. So it is known as a jungle bunny. This one is the way I tie it. Whether it's similar to other people's or not, I'm not sure. First time I kind of tied it this way, I was heading to Letterfrack over to Jackie Coyne. There was an Irish Shoots way back, 2001, 2002, an Irish Shoots national final on over there, and I was the kind of coach of the Leinster team. So I brought a group of young lads over there. Damien Driver, I think, were you with me on that trip as well? It was a long way across. I think Damien, you could have been there. Are you still on, Damien? Didn't we go to Letterfrack? Did Dinger win that one? He sure did, Hubert. He sure did. Dinger won that one. He did. In 2011, Hubert, I think it was. But sure, look, we all had to learn sometime, Rob. We all had to learn sometime. And I think Dinger went up across the waves, I think, the big waves. Headed up across the big waves, as far as I remember, and he did well. He got a couple of trout and won that competition. So I've got a little bit of, a small little bit of pearl dubbing in a bag. Absolutely, Robert Flaherty, you're dead right. Correct. Yeah, so it was 2011. Robert Flaherty just said the last piece of the puzzle is a good net. Absolutely, Robert. Be it rivers or lakes, I'm very fussy about my nets, the position of where I have them on the rivers, and even when I'm in a boat, and you can get very complacent in a boat and have fly boxes around and reels around and size 8 dabblers. He got them on, Hubert, was it? You can have stuff lying around in the boat, and next thing something falls into the net, and then when you need that net at a key moment, it lets you down because you've got stuff in it. So I'm going to put a little rib on this, which is silver, fine silver oval. So anyway, we went across the Letterfrack, myself, Damien, I'm nearly sure it was Damien Driver, and a few others, and brought a group of kids over there. Fabulous part of the world to go fishing. Jackie Coyne and the Roundstone Club, I think, were the hosts that time. Beautiful part of the world to do some. And we stayed on for a few days. And we did a little bit, but this fly worked really well over there. It's a fly I've had up in the hills of Scotland, up in Oban. Anybody knows the Oban area in Scotland? I've had this fly up there over the years, and it has worked really well as well. A little bit of black seals fur. And I'm going to leave that tail a little bit long for a moment. I'll trim that off after. Not a big bulky body on it. A little bit of red there now, actually. A little bit of red seals fur going into the middle. Same as a BBO body, basically. A little bit of red in the middle. And this is speaking of fishing small and black, like up in the Roundwood, the County Wicklow anglers, locks up there, anyone that fishes them. Small and black is our bread and butter as well. It's very similar to Killarney, very peaty water, small black flies, most days. Brendan was with me, was it? And you came to Killarney the following year. All right, so it wasn't Damien. Brendan was with me that year. We went to Letterfrack. That's right. Now I can remember. Actually, Viva. Yeah, Viva's a great fly grain angler. But Wicklow Anglers has very similar. So I'm not going to put all that dubbing in there. I'm going to take a little bit off because I don't want to overdress that head just yet. Okay. Take that off. Got a little black cock saddle here. And I'm going to take off one of the feathers here. Going to add that in there. And I'm going to come down that body. 2 turns or 3 turns now. When I get to the red, I tend to widen the turns, and when I get back onto the black, I tend to shorten them up and put a couple of extra turns in there, just so that red spot really comes out. But I like the bushiness of the extra couple of turns of black in there as well on that fly. Rib it up with my silver wire. So this is on a size 12 Camazan B175, by the way. B160 is quite a good hook for it as well. Um, size 12, even down to a size 14. No worries, Raymond. You're more than welcome. You're very welcome, and thanks a million for watching. Um, we're going a bit later tonight than we normally would, but there was a couple of so many flies, so many suggestions came in during the week. I said, you know what the hell, I'm going to stick an extra one into it there because I'd be looking forward to trying some of these flies after. So now once I've got the hackles and that body hackle on, now I can trim my tail to the sides. So I want to kind of come back as far as the longest hackle coming out of the butt. I mean, there, lovely. A little bit of a sparkly tail there. Absolutely beautiful. Now, you have a couple of options here, okay? I think in the one, Robbie, we were fishing that time, we didn't have it, but I do tend to put in a couple of little legs in there. So I'm going to take a 4 pre-knotted tails and I'm going to tie them in on the top. I'm then going to go to a black hen cape. Large enough now. You know, I want this hackle to really cloak this. Get me hackle on place again, a bit messy here now. Absolutely Graham, yeah, for Clarny. Very good. Hi, Paul Cal. Graham is just on there saying Wickham's Fancy is a very good flying Clarny. Is it, Graham? One I can say I've never heard of being fished in Clarny. So I'm just going to put on a nice, decent shoulder hackle onto that. Thread back up through. Get in there and snip out that remaining of that. No, I missed it. Thought I got it now. I'll go back in there. There we go. Got it. Fold all that back nicely. There was another great no, Robbie, no. One with the legs now is one that I've used ourselves different places and up in Wicklow as well. But the one we fished in Clarny at the time didn't have the legs, but I said I'd do the full dressing tonight to show everyone. You can do it without the legs. I'm going to put in a little bit of jungle cock cheeks on it, hence the name Jungle Bunny. Now, as I'm sure there's people looking saying, that's not the same as my Jungle Bunny, or maybe it is. Maybe it is, but this is the pattern that I use. And one I tell you for a lot of people fishing in Clarny or that are going down to Clarny. A little bit of jungle cock either side. And say if you're from Scotland or you ever find yourself up in the hills of Scotland, up around Oban, some of those lakes, over in Isle of Ely, another place we had this fly worked well for us at the Europeans. One just in on the other side. Take your time tying those in, get them in the right kind of position. And just trim it up. You can use a black or a red head. Okay, black or red, whichever. Kieran Sherlock, good point. I tied in, Miles, the legs are fantastic on it. Tied in the hackles by the stock. When I'm doing a wet fly hackle like that, I absolutely will tie it in. The Watson Fancy, it's all right, Graham will get you. When I tie in when I'm doing my kind of lock style stuff, that's the way I'll always tie it in by the stock. Because then when I put it on, it has that natural fall back. It's just I use the natural curvature on the feather to fall back over the. Now the red, it's not too bad. The red marker's drying it a bit on me, so it's not going to be as bright as I like, but it's still good. Still good. Little red head, little black head, whichever you prefer. Don't go globe right now, right? Just a little subtle kind of red up on the head of that just adds a lovely little. I say my red marker's not 100%, but you get an idea there. That little bit of a red head is a very attractive little part of that fly. Snip it off. So the red is not great now, so I'm just going to try and darken up to give you a full kind of idea of what. There we have it, folks. Jungle Bunny. The one Robbie Phelan had that day in Clarny didn't have the legs on it, but that's a very fishy fly. Roundwood Reservoirs, fantastic. Oban, fantastic. Letterfrack, fantastic. Killarney, fantastic. It's a little fly. 12s and 14s. Wouldn't bother with 10s. Even you know what? I've even been requested to ride them on 16s. Wouldn't bother going any bigger. What a little fly. Even during the duck fly in the likes of Lean, Ool, Enel, it'll catch a fish too. Duck fly, absolutely fantastic. I've had trouble in the corrib on that during the duck fly as well. Lovely little simple fly. Said nothing too out of the world, extraordinary, but little cracker. Thanks Paul Burke. Thanks Miles, Graham. Thanks a million. Yeah, lovely little fly for the duck fly. So we have it, folks. It's 10:30, and look at sure as much as I'd love to keep going. I sit here all night doing this. Better let you all go to bed and get some sleep yourself. I'll have two. Thanks a million, Neil. I'll have two kids all excited tomorrow when they wake up if they see a bit of snow at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'll tidy up this mess now I make here and go and get myself to bed. And look, a good night to everyone. Thanks everyone for watching so much. You're welcome, Dave Egan. Nothing bigger than a 14 for Killarney, Tom says. Good man, Tom. Thanks a million for everybody watching tonight. Thanks for everyone's contribution. Huge thanks to our guest, Tyler Desi. Fantastic stuff. Brilliant. This show will be on YouTube tomorrow. I will get it up tomorrow. The flies will be given away tomorrow morning. So please watch out. Thanks a million, Dave. 2 week here on Sherlock, Declan Piggott. Great to have you all on. Thanks everyone for sharing. Huge thanks to everyone for all the support we get, lads, here in Pescari Fly. We really appreciate it. It's what keeps us going. Your feedback, the bit of business, the whole lot. So if you are looking for anything in fly fishing, fly tying, give us a shout at www.pescarifly.com. If you need any advice or you want to have a chat, thanks Brian Canty, thanks Declan Noonan, Antonio Regan's on there, Robbie Berry. Really glad you all enjoyed it. If you have, want to have a chat, want a discussion about gear, something you're looking for, even if we can't sell you, we'll certainly give you the best advice possible. So pick up the phone, give us a ring. Thanks a million, Aaron. Aaron was on there for the first time. Good stuff, Aaron. And if there's all those videos, all these live shows are on YouTube, so you can go back and watch them all there if you want. But if you need any advice or if you have any questions on any gear coming into the start of the season, people buying gear, pick up the phone and give us a ring. We'll give you the best advice possible we can with our experience. If I don't have the answer, I'll put you in touch with someone that does. So give us a shout, say www.pescarifly.com. Have a great night, guys and girls. Have a great weekend. For those of you that are staying up to watch the McGregor fight, you have a bit to go, so you can tie a few flies. And see us all. Don't forget, send me some messages about what you want to see next week. Okay, I'll go back over the comments a bit, and we'll come up with a nice mix again. I like doing the mixes; kind of gets everyone going. So, good night, God bless, and see you all next Saturday night.